River Boy by Tim Bala, Chapter 12. In the morning, Grandpa was the colour of death. Dr. Fairweather arrived from Weymouth, a young man Jess liked and trusted, though she suspected Grandpa would eat him alive. Dad took him through to Grandpa and left him there and came back to join her and Mum in the kitchen. The doctor soon reappeared. "Your father's gravely ill," he said to Dad. "What on earth's he doing here? He should be taken into hospital at once." "I hope you told him that," said Dad. "Yes, but I couldn't seem to get a reply out of him." Dad frowned. "He's refused to go into hospital. But we must persuade him. He's doing himself no good here. He needs proper treatment and constant observation." "We've tried talking to him, but he just refuses. We can't force him to go." "No, we can't, but we must try and make him see reason." To Jess's surprise, he turned and looked at her. "Can you come with us? The only thing he did say when I was leaving the room was that he wants you there." She caught Dad's eye and looked down. "Okay," she said. But talking drew only the response from Grandpa. He wasn't going and that was final, and a further argument merely seemed to make sure the response was more colourful. Dr. Fairweather came every day after that. He would call around midday and examine Grandpa, then come out and make sure we all understood what we had to do. To Jess, the hours of caring seemed to merge into a single day, a day of endless wakefulness. What sleep she had barely noticed, and more she'd noticed the effect that it had on her. She noticed only Grandpa and the welling cloud of despair that had grown around him. Mum and Dad knew it too, but none of them spoke much, and Grandpa barely a word. He remained in bed, locked in his thoughts, fading by the minute. It seemed, even as they fed him, washed him, helped him go to the loo, gave him his medication, and waited. She understood his pride, but wondered why he still resisted the greater comfort of hospital. And what did he have to stay for now? The picture would never be finished. He had so little strength in his hands that he'd never be able to keep a brush in the air. Besides, he hadn't even mentioned the picture. Dad too was suffering, but in another way, and it gave her pain to see it. She knew how much he needed Grandpa's love, but it had always been withheld from him in a way that it wasn't from her. She watched as he rushed about, doing more work than everybody else, taking care of the difficult things Grandpa was too embarrassed for or her or Mum to see. Yet still Grandpa was unable to give him the words or the love that he knew he craved. This had always hurt her, and although she'd never heard Dad complain about it or speak ill of Grandpa, she knew he took it badly. She didn't see the river boy at all now, but then she didn't actually go near the river. She put on her swimsuit every morning, but it was more of a habit than anything else. When she managed to snatch a moment away from Grandpa, it wasn't to swim, it was to grab what rest she needed. Somehow, in the pressing immediacy of his condition and his father's distress, she'd ceased almost to think about the river, or swimming, or the strange boy. Only the discarded painting drew her mind back from time to time, and then its riddle to its creator, now laying stricken on the bed and sighing out for his life. Alfred too came every day, sometimes with Mr. and Mrs. Gray, but usually by himself. She found him a curiously welcome visitor. His mannerisms no longer irritated her, and she took turns to sit with Grandpa and keep him company. But company with Grandpa was no easy matter. He had lapsed into a world of almost total silence. Then, to her surprise, on the 7th day he called to her. She went in alone and drew a chair close to the bed. "Are you going to talk to me today, Grandpa?" she said. "Or just carry on being a miserable old buzzard?" "A miserable old buzzard?" "Oh, okay. I thought something was wrong for a moment." She heard a chuckle, and it was a good sound. the first she'd heard for many days. But it did not last, and darkness fell quickly upon him once more. She leaned a little closer. "Grandpa, tell me, what is it?" He looked away and was silent for so long she thought there was going to be no answer. But finally he spoke, though in a low voice she could barely catch the words. "It's no good. I'll never do it now. I hoped, maybe if I just rested a bit, my strength would come back." He looked at her. "You might as well take me to the knacker's yard at Braemouth. I'm not going to finish the picture now." She stroked his hand, wanting to squeeze it and to infuse some of her own strength into him, but she let go, anxious lest she hurt him. She'd not thought it had come to this, and to him, she knew it was unbearable. Defeat, for that how he would see it, would cost him more than any physical pain. To be wheeled away into some hospital ward, frustrated, resentful, and thus to die, his work incomplete, was an end she could never have envisaged for him. Not that she saw him